Hi everyone, my name is Ana-Marija. I'm the head of research at Data Privacy Manager. I have a bit of an unusual background for software engineering. I'm a linguist. I've actually completed my studies at the University of Oxford, and I started my work at the Data Privacy Manager as the team lead for machine learning, and now as of recently I'm the head of research. DPM research department came about, I would say almost 2 years ago, when we first noticed that there was an increased demand for privacy protection software, but also an increased amount of algorithms that were being developed and not really put into any kind of production. So we decided to kind of research this opportunity, or take this opportunity to research the mathematical background of any privacy regulation, so that we can kind of build this into our project. And to this end, we partnered with the Faculty of Electrical Engineering and Computing in Zagreb to kind of bring the academia as well into the research. But what we initially conceptualized our research department as was more of a research that is geared towards the product. So we don't research just for the research sake. We want to really build it into a product. Data Privacy Manager Research Department primarily focus on the smart application of machine learning and artificial intelligence for privacy protection. The reason why we focus on this is mainly due to the privacy regulations. A lot of the people are aware of GDPR, at least in Europe, but it's not just GDPR. You have multiple different regulations across the globe. You will have it in California, in Brazil, as of recent in China as well. So a lot of the markets are actually focusing more on privacy regulations. Secondly, we've noticed that the overwhelming increase in the amount of data that is in the world. You will have, I think, about 7.5 sextillion gigabytes of data created every day. And not a lot of that data is actually operational data, but it's very important to remember that privacy regulations do not apply just on the data that you know that you have, but they also apply on the data that you do not know that you have. So obviously the privacy regulations and the amount of data necessitate research, necessitate addressing from any kind of privacy managing software. So far, we have researched various applications of machine learning in different areas of data. Now, when we talk about data, we need to think in a business, in an enterprise. We have structured data, which is tabular data. This is the data that most of the people in the business will know. These are tables, Excel sheets, etc. And we have unstructured data. Unstructured data is all the text that you generate in your company. So CVs of your employees, or maybe the email correspondence between your employees or your customers. We researched the application of named entity recognition. This is identifying different privacy domains in text and in tables. And what we focused on is mainly the algorithms that have been developed for various purposes, and we try to appropriate some of the knowledge that has been developed in the academia to actually extract some kind of a business value. And for structured data, so tabular data, we actually researched a new way of applying machine learning and natural language processing on tables, which are not necessarily easy to do. A lot of the people think that, oh, it's easy, you know what's in your table, but it's actually really, really hard. People will have different names, you will have human errors, you will have a lot of problems with the tabular data that you need to address, and it's really, really challenging. And with unstructured data, so your text, your emails, it's a large amount of data. That there is so much data in a company that has been propagated across the systems, and in a lot of these communications internally and externally, you will have personal data that you do need to protect, that you need to kind of know where it is, how to access it, who has seen it, and that obviously you can allow your customers to exercise their rights to be forgotten once they are no longer your client. And lastly, we kind of focus a little bit on what we like to call like language agnostic and script agnostic modeling. And this is to do with the fact that a lot of the state-of-the-art machine learning models for natural language processing are made in English and in the major languages, which obviously makes it a lot harder for smaller countries, for smaller markets to actually comply with the regulations. So a lot of our work is actually focused on this particular area to enable that all of the markets can actually exercise and comply with the privacy regulations. And this obviously means that we had to develop models and algorithms for this in-house because we are working with personal data. We cannot send personal data across the globe. We cannot use third-party software without, possibly compromising the safety of the customers. So all of our research that I just described for you has resulted in a product which we call Data Discovery. Data Discovery is a new module of Data Privacy Manager which allows our customers to identify personal data in structured tabular sources and unstructured sources across. And obviously, we have also implemented successfully our language agnostic, script agnostic software as well. So this is part of our new data discovery. The plans for the future for the Data Privacy Manager's research team are as follows. Firstly, we obviously don't want to leave our customers hanging. We want to keep on improving our current data discovery. We want to work on the models that we have researched so far. We want to potentially upgrade them with new findings from the academia or from the practical experience that we have with the deployment of our models at the client side. Secondly, obviously, we want to find the new approaches. We want to address new issues. We want to comply with more regulations. We want to work further on broadening the amount of languages that we can cover, the amount of scripts that we can cover, because we believe in something that is, privacy by design. We want to be able to keep everything in the house. And to do that on a global market, you need to think about even the tiny little languages, just the same as the big ones. There is no reason, in our opinion, that somebody in England should have access to easy compliance and somebody in Croatia or Slovenia or potentially Mongolia should not have this same ability. And lastly, there is one thing that I haven't talked about, but I feel it's really, really, really important for any research department, and that's how do you link all of the data that you have across your system. So when you think about the enterprise, it's like a living organism. You need your hands, you need your head, you need your legs. The same way you need to know where your data is, and you need to be able to, if you have a customer, you need to be able to link him from your tabular data, unstructured data. You need to link it to the consents, because obviously consents can be given for specific purposes and they can be withdrawn entirely or in portion, and you need to know what the consents have been withdrawn for, how do you connect all the bits and pieces of information that you have in your system, the knowledge that you possess, how do you connect it, and we call this entity linking, and we really think it merits more research because we want to be able to do this for our customers. We want to be able to make the transition to fully compliant company a lot easier, and we believe that this is something that we will be able to offer some solutions for in the future. So I really personally believe that privacy protection is important for me as a consumer of various types of services, but I also really genuinely do believe that it's something that is really good for our society, that really enhances and makes our society better. If my colleagues had to describe me, I think one of the words that they would use would be energetic, optimistic, and really a dreamer, I guess. I dream a lot and I try to make these dreams a reality. I think that that's what they would say about me. And obviously you could think about it, or maybe it's not feasible, but as I said, I really research for the product and the dreams are there to be realized.